Welcome to a special segment of Real Talk. Today we have Jordan, who was he interned with us over the summer, and actually is Matt's. What would you be considered?
Nephew.
Nephew. Okay, nephew. So you brought up an interesting point, or you brought up an interesting topic that I just wanted to talk about. You said that Gary Vee is a fraud, and I like Gary Vee quite a lot. That's pretty well known in our studio. I take a lot of advice from him, and I think he offers out a lot of good advice and tips to people and to entrepreneurs. So tell me what your take is on him.
I don't think he's 100% a fraud, but I just think that he's really cocky and really, he robs people. He goes to, yard sales, and, some kid is trying to sell something for $10, and he makes the kid sell it for $4.
Yeah.
But he's a billionaire.
Haggling.
He doesn't need to do that. He's just robbing people for a video.
Okay, so I have two comebacks to you on that. One, he's cocky. Gary Vee would say, okay, cool. You're a hater. You need haters to be successful. You're not doing it right if you don't have haters. What he would say to you is he would just throw that back at you. I mean, he would just be like, well, whatever, cool. Yeah, you think I'm cocky. Whatever. Well, where are you? Where am I? And the garage sale thing, what is bad about that? Have you ever been to a garage sale?
Yeah.
Have you haggled with people?
No.
Why?
Because it's a garage sale. It's for, why
They're trying to get
haggle?
rid of their crap.
I can see that.
Dude, garage sailing on eBay and then reselling the stuff on eBay is not a Gary Vee original. People have been doing that for years.
Oh, yeah.
He's just out there showing you how you can make extra money. And what you're not doing is doing that. I've gone out on a garage sale and I've gotten stuff for free and I've gotten stuff for, cheap price. And the stuff's actually worth a lot of money. So
you buy it for cheap and sell it for more?
Yeah.
Okay, but that's different because you're not a billionaire doing it for views on a YouTube channel, whereas he's doing that.
That statement is bonkers. What did you just say?
He rips people off for a video, and he's a billionaire. He doesn't need that extra money.
That helps people find a new source of revenue.
That's not a true source of revenue.
Can be. Dude, he's saying bro, if you go during summertime when everyone's having garage sales, if I told you that you could make an extra $1,000 a month selling crap on eBay, would you do it?
Yeah.
Looks like it's interesting content.
I don't really think that I learn from those videos that he posts. It's not learning so much. I mean, the dude is... He's not inspirational to me. Maybe you think he's inspirational, but every time I hear him talk,
he's not inspirational to you.
He's just pulling stuff out of his butt, and then every other word he says is profane. And
he's pulling stuff out of his butt. What do you mean?
He's just talking about.
He's talking about stuff that he did to become where he is.
Yeah, but that doesn't work for every single person.
You're right. Absolutely, you're right.
So why is he claiming? He's claiming
he doesn't.
That
no, he doesn't. What are you talking about? Have you even seen his content?
Yes. And he says that if you do what he did, you'll be successful like him.
No.
Yes.
He's giving you advices on how to be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is completely nebulous, and it's all over the place.
Going to a garage sale, buying stuff for cheap and selling it for more expensive is not an entrepreneur. That's not an entrepreneur.
What he's about is the hustle. He's all about the hustle, the side hustle, making the extra money on the weekends. He's saying, hey, instead of spending your Saturday at home watching football or playing video games, you could be out hustling, making money by flipping stuff on a garage sale. That's what he's saying. He's not saying you become a billionaire by doing garage sales. He even stated it in his trash talk videos of, dude, you know how you scale this? You buy the person's entire house out. You buy everything they're selling. You buy everything. And yeah, it's not, he's like, it's not a huge cash cow, but if you need an extra $1,500, $2,000, why not?
In those videos, of the garage sale, perhaps, yeah. But the other videos of him running his own business and how he treats his staff, I don't know. It's very
how he treats his staff
in
really
videos,
well.
I don't think so.
What do you mean?
He's very, like, he puts himself on such a higher pedestal than every person. He doesn't have any sense of modesty.
I vehemently disagree.
You think he's modest person?
Bro, if you had to take the people out there who are giving like modeling it or like advice as far as like how they made their wealth, I mean, a few come to mind. I think about Gary Vee, I think about Grant Cardone, I think about Ty Lopez. Bro, Gary Vee out of those three people is the only modest one in that group.
Describe in your way how you think that Gary is modest. What does he do that is a modest thing?
I think that Gary is real above the other two. I think that Grant Cardone has a lot of good stuff, but I think that Ty Lopez flexes a lot. I think that Gary Vee talks about stuff from a level that people can understand. He's not talking about, hey, what's up? If you go out and hustle if you go out and hustle right now, you can make $1 million. He's saying, hey, if you go out and you hustle for 4, 5, 6 years and you put in the work and you grind it and do work and do good work, by that time you might have a brand that's raking you in 6 figures. He's talking about doing the slow grind. He's talking about the real work that it takes to put in. Yes, he's at a certain stage right now. So of course, like listening to any person who has already achieved their status, it's hard to take anything that they say and be like, okay, well, how do I realistically get there? If there's one thing that I have found that Gary Vee that a lot of the other people are not, is that his comes from a much more real world perspective and a much more relational perspective. I mean, he's the one out there pushing relations, right? He's the one out there saying like, hey, if you do business with people relationally, not transactionally, if you're actually talking to them and you're actually spending time to get to know them, that's how you do business nowadays. That's how you do business on social media.
But that's not quite what he says in his videos. He's not really a relationship builder in the videos that he posts. It's not so much a relationship. It's more about the catch, or like him achieving the sale, or him putting himself higher than someone else. Where it's not so much relationship like, oh, let's be friends and then do business. It's not relationship selling at all. He's not a solution seller. He is he just puts himself on like a pedestal, and like he just tries to, undercut people.
What videos have you watched that I haven't? Because I've seen hundreds of hours of content from Gary Vee.
Hundreds of hours?
Dude, yeah. I've watched so much of his content, and he would probably tell me to get off the internet and stop watching his content.
During that time,
he'd be
you
like,
could have been
well,
hustling.
you need to stop watching Gary Vee content. You need to.
Maybe you should have started doing the hustle, during that time.
Yeah, right.
But
I'm saying
that means he's not inspirational to you. He's telling you to do all these things, and then you're not even doing it. That's not inspirational.
The fact that I can even know that, like, hey, I'm consuming too much content, that's inspirational. What's not inspirational about that? And what is not good life advice about that?
If he's trying to give you advice on what to do and you don't even do it, it's not inspirational. It doesn't make you do it.
But he's real about that. What he's saying is, he even says it in some of his conferences. He says, hey, what I need you to do is I need you to go home or back to your office or whatever, and I need you to make one piece of content for every platform, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, and I know 98% of you aren't going to do it. I mean, dude, the guy's a realist. He knows people. Like, he knows the human condition. And that's why I think that what he says is so strong, because he understands the real nature of how people think. Okay, so I'm a content creator. So I watch Gary Vee, and I am inspired by not just what he says, but because he's a content creator too. And that dude is a media machine. I mean, that dude is pumping out original content for YouTube, for Instagram, for Facebook, for LinkedIn, for Snapchat, for TikTok, dude. Like, that guy he just doesn't stop. And I think that he has really healthy ways to approach that idea of not stopping, because I think that, and we've talked about this on Real Talk before, but I think that there's a pervasive idea that the idea of like don't stop means like kill, like not physically kill yourself, but like it means like do whatever it takes, even if you're only getting 1 hour sleep and you just feel like crap, and just do whatever it takes. I mean, he even pushes the idea like it's not don't sleep, it's not don't eat, like sleep, get your sleep. He's saying, what are you doing in the hours you're awake? Like, he's just trying to get you to cut through the bull crap of yourself.
And
really, ultimately,
that's something that I think is important, and that's stuff that I learned, in my business classes, is like, spend the time productively, because if you're on your phone an hour of the day, even like while you're at work or supposed to be focusing, that's money that you could have been making. That's investment that you could have been doing. So in that sense, I think that Gary Vee can be inspirational.
So his content, because that's the type of content he's putting out.
Some of it, though, is that, which I would say is inspirational to the point of almost like a mini lecture, like teaching you like how business is done and how to invest yourself and improve yourself to be the best you can. But in other aspects, I just don't find him inspirational. But like
what parts of him do you particularly not find inspirational?
I don't like that the guy speaks very profanely and not in a very professional manner. I think that, if you're that sort of a figurehead, you should, and you're trying to reach to a young audience and trying to inspire them, you shouldn't be making half the words you say profane, because it just doesn't come across as professional. It comes across as, this dude's dirty. He's just a dirty salesman kind of guy. Whereas, like,
it
doesn't inspire me.
I don't agree. I mean, okay, maybe you don't like crass words, but
I very much like crass words, but not
so,
from.
Okay, so
not,
what's your deal with him then? Because
crass would be
if there's anything that he is above anything else, authentic. And he's even made a point to that. People have challenged him on that before too. Like, hey, what about your daughter? Are you worried that your kids are gonna be, profane because you're profane? He's like, I'll parent my kids, thanks. Like, what I'm more worried about is people finding me inauthentic. If that's like his number one fear.
So he has to use profanity to be authentic.
That's
himself?
who he is. Okay, so he swears.
But there's a way to do things in a more professional manner, and those are things that I learned too in my business classes. You have to be professional. You can't just be, you can't just go in a place and just say what you want to say, because then you'll get in some trouble. You'll get heat. Do
you think that Gary Vee's in trouble?
No, but he's at that place already.
Do you think that how he has acted hasn't gotten him where he is?
I'm saying, okay, so if he would have gone into a job interview in his younger years and talked like he does now, he would not get those jobs. Definitely not.
And he would say, I don't want those jobs. I want to start my own thing.
That's fine.
His whole thing is entrepreneurship. He's not working for other people. That's his whole thing. Yeah, so yeah, who cares if he wouldn't get a job? He doesn't want that job.
I'm saying, but for other people, if you are trying to get those jobs, for example, it's not inspiring to watch him, because if you do what he does, you're not going to get to where you want to be.
I disagree.
How so?
Because depending on what you're doing, and like it depends on what you're doing as to why you're watching him. Like, ultimately, where do you want to go? Because he's talking to entrepreneurs, people who don't want to work for somebody. So the idea of going into a job interview, like, already that's not who he's talking to. Yeah. He's not talking to people who going into a job interview. He's talking to people who want to make their own path. So it doesn't matter what he says.
Do you think
because he's his own boss?
Business relationships still matter in an entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
And so do you
absolutely.
think that if you're trying to build a business relationship with someone, the best way is to just start spilling out profanity, speaking with your mind?
I think the best way to build a relationship with somebody is to be authentic to you and to not be fake.
I think you should be authentic, but I believe
He's
that
not
you
saying
also
go
have
out there
to-
and swear. He's not saying that.
Oh no, he's not saying that, but that's how he presents himself. I'm
Sure,
saying
that's
so
how he does
if-
business.
If
And people cannot do
someone-
business with him for that.
if someone's
I
trying
mean, really.
to build their business relationships in a way that he did, they are not going to find the same success. Like, because
Well, no, I'm not.
don't
I
you
don't.
can't-
I know I don't agree with that because he's not saying, "Hey, go out there and swear to everybody."
I'm not
He's-
saying that's what he's
he
saying. I'm saying
swears.
if you follow what he does, which includes
If you
that.
follow what he does as a personality, you are inauthentic because you're not that.
That's true.
So he's not saying, "Hey, go be Gary Vee." He's saying, "Go be you."
Okay.
Here's some advice on how to be an entrepreneur, and here's some things that people, parenting and education misses, and how those things are failing entrepreneurs. That's his thing. Swearing and all and whatever, that's his personality. I mean, and people could choose to do business with him or not. Be authentic is what he's saying. So if you doing business with somebody you don't want to be crass, don't. That's authentic to you.
Okay.
But I don't think it's fair to call the dude on saying that, oh, well, because he's crass, you will not get there if you listen to him. I don't think that's fair at all to say.
No, I don't think that's the only reason that I'm bringing up that I don't, I think that the be authentic, that message, I guess, doesn't get portrayed to me so much as be Gary Vee in his videos. Because when I watch his videos, it comes very abruptly and it's kind of harsh message, I guess. And it makes me feel like, he wants me to be like him. Not he wants me to be the best of me. That's
And
so
I,
I guess
I would argue that you're missing the point.
and that
if
could
that's
be
what
just
you're getting from it.
Well, that could also be the fact that I'm not an entrepreneur. Whereas
Okay.
I'm not in your position. I have a different perspective because I'm just a college student. I study business. I study my own things, and I have my own practice that I do.
Yeah.
And so it's different from an entrepreneur like you. You have a different perspective of this because this is stuff you do in your real life.
Yeah.
With my perspective, I might just not be open to that type of inspiration because it inspires you, but to me, it turns me away from that. And that could just be a difference of perspective, a difference of what we do, a difference of our business practice, how we want to do business. I just think that the content that he publishes is not for me. I guess if it helps people like you and other entrepreneurs, then that's good. And then if he is giving the message to be authentic to people and truly helping people, then that's great. But personally, I don't see him as a inspirational figure.
Well, and you're not going to be an entrepreneur, though,
Yeah.
is what you said. Mm-hmm. So I guess, I don't know, I guess I don't really know where to bridge it then, because I do think that his content can help a lot of people and like what they do. And I think there is a lot of just like inspirational stuff as far as like motivating you to like get up and actually do what you want to do. And I think if the school route is for you, that's fine. I don't think that that's Gary Vee's stance necessarily. I can't talk for him, but from what I've seen, he's very of the school that education is failing entrepreneurs. Being an entrepreneur myself, I agree. So I think ultimately, what's your final stance on him? What's your final stance on him first? Just answer that question.
Final stance would be he is not the figure that I would look up towards to help me in my practice and in what I want to do. That is not how I want to do things.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that is part of my final stance. But I also think that, I guess you've sold me on the idea that if you're an entrepreneur and if that's the kind of stuff, he could be giving you the inspiration that you need, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So in that aspect, yeah, I haven't thought about it like that because that's not where my perspective lays. Yeah, I think that if he's helping other people and if they truly like it, that's great. But for me, it doesn't do anything for me. I think it's a waste.
Then it doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah.
If it ultimately, I think that's it. Because and I think that there's I think that there's different worlds of thought. Yeah. So ultimately, like, I would encourage you to maybe watch more of his content, and hopefully you can glean a little bit more of the motivational side out of it. But again, if he's not your cup of tea, I think whatever, that's fine. You don't have to listen to him. I think he's offering some really good real world advice, and not just advice, but maybe more of a look into, like, hey, like, it's okay to be here, or here, like, because it takes time. Because for me, I know it's super frustrating when you're 4 years into a business, 5 year, whatever, and you're like, man, I'm just like not moving the needle. And this dude's out there saying, like, yo, it takes, hey, like, in 5, 6, 7 years, you can maybe be at this point. And I'm like, oh, dude, that's way different than what I've seen out of some of these other, like, business gurus, out of like, yo, what's up? This is my Lambo. And like, so, yeah. So ultimately that's why I like him. But I just want to thank you for coming on and giving your opinion. Thanks for talking about this with me. I mean, obviously, like, Gary Vee is somebody that I look up to, and I think I have gotten a lot of inspiration and second wins from. So
I guess that's the point of it. I mean, all is to help that. But yeah, so I guess I have never seen anybody so inspired and motivated by his content, such as you. So this is the first conversation I've had with someone that has been inspired by him and does like him. So that definitely opens my eyes to the possibilities of it being an inspirational.
Well, and ultimately, that's why dialogue like this is awesome, because we both learn a little bit about it. Because I'm in a world of entrepreneurship, I haven't really seen anybody who hasn't liked him. Everybody's like, oh yeah, he's the best, obviously, duh. So it's cool to hear both perspectives. So just wanted to thank you for coming on the show, and thanks for offering up your advice and debating with me and talking. So hopefully we go away with it with some info from each other. But thanks for joining us on this little bit different version of a real talk. Let us know what you think about Gary Vee. Is he somebody that, inspires you, or is he somebody that you could, take or leave? And what position are you in? You're an entrepreneur? Are you going to school? Yeah, let us know. And let's start a dialogue about it. So I wanted to thank Jordan again for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. So thanks again, guys. Have a good day. See you on the next one.